I typically get up at 5 a.m., and after drinking some coffee, I go for a 2 to 3 mile jog. I live in an area where it's covered with thick fog. Some days, I can't even see 2 feet in front of me. This was one of those mornings. As I headed off my run, I was having second thoughts about jogging at this time because I couldn't see anything. But I was already in the zone to run, so I went for it. I was about a mile and a half out when I heard footsteps running behind me. I scooted further to my right to let the runner pass me because I could hear they were going fast. I glanced behind me to see how far behind they were, and to my surprise, there was no one there. I was obviously confused, but continued anyway, thinking maybe my footsteps were causing an echo, and because I'm breathing harder, maybe it was messing with my hearing, so I continued jogging. Within a few minutes I heard it again, but this time I heard rustling of bushes and shrubs. I stopped where I was to take a look at my surroundings. I was worried a mountain lion or a coyote was following me because they are common in our area at this time. If that was the case, I didn't want to run. So I paused for a minute and continued looking around. Because I couldn't see anything but the white blanket of fog surrounding me, all I could do was listen. I heard shrubs behind me shake, and I turned in that direction to look, but the shaking stopped. I figured I would continue because I couldn't see a damn thing. Because I couldn't see in front of me, I would stare at the ground as I had a better view of what was a few feet in front of me. A few minutes into running, and I stopped dead in my tracks. There were men's-sized boots standing directly in front of me, maybe 3 feet away. I couldn't see the person, just the feet, because of the fog. Out of breath, I said, "Good morning," and continued running past the figure. He didn't say anything. I glanced behind me, and to my horror, he was jogging behind me, in boots. Those were the footsteps I heard. I knew they sounded off and heavy. Freaked out, I crossed the street and headed back in the direction of my house. I turned my jog into a bit of a run to gain some distance between us, but not fast enough to where I wouldn't maintain the speed. But I heard the footsteps about a meter away from me. I kept looking behind me and I didn't see the footsteps, but I did hear him. I tried calling my husband to come and get me, but he was a difficult person to wake up. I was paranoid about calling 911 at first because I wasn't sure if I was jumping the gun and calling about a person who was simply jogging at the same time as me, who happened to be wearing boots. The more I repeated to myself the situation and tried to name what was freaking me out, I realized he was following me. Every turn I took, every detour I made, he was there. I had about half a mile left to my house and didn't want this creep following me home, so I sprinted as fast as I could and dialed the police. It must have been hard for the operator to hear me because I was panting and gasping for air. The fear also made my heart race even more. I couldn't catch my breath. I lived a few blocks from the police station and told them I was running to them because I didn't want to wait in one place, and this way I didn't lead him to my house. The police showed up in what seemed like 30 seconds, thankfully. Apparently, there were other reports of women being stalked while doing their morning runs, but no one could identify or find the person. They took him into custody and escorted me home. I will be running a different route from now on.